Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you a little bit about the Salton Sea, and you're going to probably say, why? Well, the Salton Sea is 15 miles wide by 35 miles long. That is one big body of water. Now, all over the country, the balls break different ways. When you're in Orlando, Florida, or Tampa, Florida, the ball might break towards one of the oceans, either the Gulf of Mexico or the Atlantic Ocean. It's important for you when you travel to know where it breaks. When I was in Humana, Colorado, it broke away from one big mountain when I played in the Colorado Open up there. But in the desert here, everything goes towards the Salton Sea. It doesn't really break that way, but it's influenced by the grass to go that way. Now, you're probably thinking that's a bunch of baloney, but I want to let you know that when you get out there and you start looking at what happens, you will eventually start believing this. Now, why does the ball go that way? Well, it goes that way because Bermuda grass grows that way. Bermuda grass spreads itself by rhizomes and stolons. That is the underground root and the above ground root, and it grows towards the Salton Sea. Now, even though that Salton Sea is about 15-20 miles from us right here, it's smart enough, and the grass isn't real smart, but it's smart enough to know that it's going to go that way. If you put a little sprig of Bermuda grass down on a pile of dirt and you watered it, and it started growing, it would grow towards the Salton Sea. Now, when you, where it's really evident is on holes like number 9 south. That's the one that comes right up to the clubhouse, and it's a long, deep green, but you'll notice that when you hit chip shots, try to get a chip shot up to that back tee pin, that back pin placement, it's just almost impossible to get back there because you're going a little bit uphill, but you're mainly going into the grain. All the Bermuda grass is growing towards the front right corner, and a lot of times when you're in the front right corner, you just can't seem to get it back there. And then when you're back there behind the pin and putting down even to a back pin, you'll notice the ball just runs and runs and runs. You might have a 10-footer behind the pin putting, and you have a 15-footer coming back. So just take this into consideration, that everything goes to the Salton Sea. In the Humana Challenge, which they play out at PGA West and some of the desert golf courses, it used to be the Bob Hope Classic, the announcers, you occasionally hear them saying that the greens break towards Indio. Well, they really don't go towards Indio. And then what happens when you get into Indio? Which way do they break? They go towards the Salton Sea. So if you're on the other side of the Salton Sea, they're going to break back this way. So the Salton Sea, big body of water, trust these shots. The other one that I wanted to bring to your attention is number 2 north. I said to my caddy last year in the Battle of the Pros, I was back behind the green on the back right corner, and I knew I had to hit a chip shot hard because I said I was right into the green. I still couldn't get it to the pin. And then I knew I had to hit the putt hard because I was going right into the green. I couldn't seem to hit it hard enough, and I know which way that grain is. Sometimes you just got to really talk yourself into it. So just trust this thought. Imagine, I tell you what, I will guarantee you that your putting will probably improve by 10%. So just start thinking about this when you're out there playing. One of the things you can do is take your cell phone. You can't do it while you're playing golf because it's an artificial aid, but you take your cell phone. Most every one of them has a compass on it, and you put down, you turn it on, and when you're out there on the golf course, you take a scorecard and you mark on the scorecard with a little pencil every one of the golf courses. As you're standing on the green, you get your compass out, and it's going southeast. So I'm standing on number 9 east green right here. I know Indio is directly east. I know La Quinta is a little bit southeast. So if you looked at your, is a little bit to the south, if you look at your compass, it's going to be southeast on your compass. If you draw that little line on each one of the scorecards, and then you get up to the green, as you're standing on the green, the way it's facing. So on this green here, it's facing towards the front right corner of the green. So you're coming into this green, you're coming into the same way you're coming into the green on number 9 south. So it's going to be quick going downhill, it's going to be slow coming uphill. And if you do that on the scorecard, you mark that little line, that little arrow on each one of your scorecards. When you have your compass with you, your cell phone, and then you go out and play the next time, you don't need that cell phone. All you need is your scorecard. You have it in your back pocket, you pull it out, and you know which way the grain's going. And it's not the way the valley slopes. A lot of people think, well, because the highest part of the valley is up there towards Palm Springs, and the Salton Sea is the lowest part. But believe me, that's not because it slopes that way, it's because the grain goes that way. Thanks for watching our tip today.